Hello, good afternoon. My name is Daniel Garcia. I am the co-writer and director of the film H, along with Rania, Attieh, whom I've worked with on films and art for the past 13 years. We are developing this project with our producers Shruti Ganguly and Pierce Verus. H is set in the town of Troy, New York. One night, a meteor falls out of the sky and explodes over the town. In the aftermath of this event, bizarre and unexplainable things begin to happen. Hundreds of people in the town begin to go missing. Unnatural cloud formations begin appearing in the sky. A man in the town reports that when he turns his faucet on, the water flows upward. In this world, fundamental elements of reality have begun to change, as two women, each named Helen, find themselves and their lives spiraling out of control. The first Helen is in her mid-60s. She lives with her husband, Roy, and they live a quiet, peaceful life together. But there's an underlying sense of denial and complacency that runs through their lives. And following this meteor event, Roy is one of the people in the town who has gone missing. And this sends Helen on a journey to find her husband, but a journey that she will be on for the rest of her life.
On the other side of the river lives the younger Helen, a woman in her mid-30s that works, collaborates, and lives with her partner, Alex. They have built a very successful art career in New York City. When we meet the younger Helen, she has moved to Troy with Alex after she left New York City because of a nervous breakdown resulting from a series of miscarriages. And at this point, she is dealing with the realization that she could never become a mother. The meteor sends the younger Helen on a spiraling back into her delusions and paranoias, and takes her on a journey downwards to madness, where she probably will never come back from. Both Helens are somehow two versions of the same woman, or mirroring each other in a way that both women are dealing with this longing for motherhood or unattainable motherhood. Somehow also, both Helens are somehow a mirror of myself. Maybe I identify a little bit with more with the younger Helen, but I am at this also stage in my life where I'm trying to balance an ambitious career and a really big desire to become a mother.
My name is Shruti, and I'm one of the producers of H. I've connected with Rania and Daniel after seeing their first feature film, Okay, Enough, Goodbye. And not only was I taken by the story and the amazing directing and storytelling ability, but also the fact that they had made a feature film, just the two of them. From co-writing it, co-directing, from the camera to the design, from the editing to the score. They had done it themselves. And when they approached me with the idea of H, I immediately connected to it, because I too am a woman, if that was any question, and also a filmmaker. And I'm also dealing with a lot of the same questions that Rania mentioned as well. And in terms of my previous experience, I spent the last 2 years working with James Franco producing feature films for him. And these were also low budget but ambitious projects that had many layers, multi-location, with A-list talent. But they all had male protagonists. And so with H, not only am I able to apply what I've learned from in the past, but also work with female characters who are complex and interesting. Another important character in our film is the town of Troy. Located 3 hours north of New York City, we really hope to leverage the community, not only in terms of crew, but also in terms of finding new talent for non-professional actors and in supporting roles. And what's really interesting about Troy that works within this movie is that it once was the beacon of American capitalism and industry.
Hello, my name is Pierce Varis. I'm the other producer on H. My background is in post-production. I own a post house in New York City, and over the past 4 years we've finished 60 independent feature films, most of which are micro-budget, and we're going to be doing the effects on this film. What drew me to this project was the strange atmosphere of it, the strange atmosphere of the inner and outer worlds of these women. The idea of taking a very familiar image of a woman holding a baby or of a post-industrial town and altering it slightly to have an unsettling effect. Throughout our film, a large head of a Greek sculpture floats down the Hudson River and through this town of Troy. And this is an image, as you can see here, that actually happened about a year ago. And they still don't know where this head came from. And we're very much inspired by these surreal images that we can't explain. We've got a group of collaborators that are also really inspired by this kind of imagery. So they've really adopted this more with less ethos that we're approaching the film with.
Yeah, and at its heart, H is really structured around the idea of myths. And it is deeply immersed in the kind of ethos of ancient or classic Greek tragedy. It is ultimately a reinterpretation, if you will, a deconstruction and then a reconstruction of the ideas surrounding the myths of Helen of Troy. Some of the most important elements of which deal with ideas like the feeling of eternal loss or longing and despair, as well as the notion that Helen brings destruction to everything around her, mirroring perhaps the meteor itself, which has come into this world and has brought with it a sense of impending doom. H is a film that will attempt to create a world that is visually shocking, unexpected, and memorable, and will do so in a way that will build upon ideas and themes that are at the same time both modern and ancient. Thank you.
That was very good. Usually it's difficult to pitch in 2. Can you imagine in 4, eh? Anybody wants to ask a question? Michelle, yes.
You spoke about the strangeness of the world after the meteor explodes over Troy. How does that affect, in what way does the behavior of the characters become strange?
For us, the meteor acts more as like this idea of a catalyst, no? This big, the idea from the myth of this godly event that rules the fate of the people, the humans. And in our film, the film starts right after the meteor explodes over Troy. And really, the meteor, for the outside, looks like it's pushing those 2 women towards their fate or their demise. But in reality, you understand that these two women, they were predetermined to get to this same demise. So you're just watching them unfold and in a way thinking that everything that is happening to them is the result of this bigger scheme and not coming from inside their particular situations.
Yeah, and I think adding to that, I mean, visually, like I said, people in this town do go missing, and it's not until later in the film that it's discovered that all of these people ended up in a forest, outside of the town, and they're all kind of lying in this field. So you have hundreds of people lying in this matrix of kind of, sleeping bodies, so to speak. And it's, the film goes into describing this and explaining this in a way, but, there are a bunch of visually striking elements of the film that we think, have a way of playing with traditional genres of, maybe drama and, science fiction and kind of elements like that. So we're excited to try and make it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.